4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Coming to you live from the White Picket Studios in Houston, Texas, this is the Realty Ruckus. If you are in any way, shape, or form involved in the real estate industry, this is the show for you. And now, your host, Alan Hernandez.
Good morning, Houston. Thank you for joining us here at the Realty Ruckus live out of the White Picket Realty Studios. We are excited to be here today. We have so many awesome things to talk to you guys about today, but I just want to start with the fact that we just got football season up and going, and it's been a phenomenal week. And then on top of that, here at the office, we started our fantasy football.
That's right.
League. And guess who won this week? I won.
I won.
Did everyone here win?
Wait, are we only playing against ourselves or something?
Wait, who did I play in the office league this week? I don't remember.
I played our assistant Elizabeth, and she scored like 54 points, and I scored 56 points.
Oh my goodness!
So you guys both have really crappy teams.
Yes, without a doubt.
I scored like 130.
I know. Everyone else had over 100 points except Elizabeth and I.
Nice.
I feel really bad for whoever I played. Like they were pretty much out of it by the end of Sunday. Like Monday Night Football didn't even count.
Really?
And I scored another 25 points on Monday night.
I'm gonna look up my league right now.
There was one year when I put my league on auto draft, and every single game I had over 100 points.
That's the year that you got second place.
Yes. And so I tried it again this year, right? Because last year I was like, man, I'm gonna pick my own players. I'm gonna do this thing right, and I didn't win. So this year I was like, all right, forget it. I'm gonna give it the auto draft route one more time. Give it a chance again. And yeah, you guys scored over 100 points. I got 56 points.
It actually wouldn't surprise me if it turns out that auto drafting is the best way to go.
It probably is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I'd like to actually look up some statistics.
It's not because it just picks the person that has the potential for the most points, but it'll pick them regardless of whether they're suspended or not
out or whatever.
Or out or for whatever reason can't play. So that's what happened to me. I had like 4 guys who just can't play. They might be big numbers guys, but they can't play. So that's why my points were cut in half. Anyway, did you guys realize that we have a problem right now with our smartphones? I don't know if you guys noticed this. My wife yells at me all the time for it. So, statistically speaking, right now, most people use their smartphone between 4.7 and 5 hours a day. All right.
I can see that.
And no joke, I have this app on here that tracks my usage. And it's absolutely true. I mean, anywhere between 4 to 5 hours a day is what we spend on these phones. Anyway, people recently started. I don't know. You got to be careful, dude, because you just got this thing. The Galaxy 7,
Note 7.
The Note 7 is blowing up, like literally blowing up in people's hands right now.
Yeah, what's sad is it's only 0.1% of all the phones that are having problems.
But enough of them have actually blown up to where it's caused people bodily injury.
Well, see, here's my whole thing, though. This is one of those situations where I feel like Samsung is getting really burned by social media. Because 20 years ago, Samsung puts out a phone where only 0.1% of them are blowing up. That's a local news story.
Yeah.
It doesn't go anywhere. And Samsung doesn't have to do a recall. There is no governmental recall. And you don't have any of those problems. Instead, social media, somebody gets burned, they put it online, and now that goes viral. Yeah. And that goes viral worldwide now. It's not just in the US. So that's one of those examples of, is social media, is technology actually slowing down innovation? And I'll tell you why, because Samsung now, before they put out the next device, they want to be beyond 100% sure that they're not going to have these types of problems, because this is going to cost them a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Over $1 billion.
So is this going to prevent people from putting out other devices for the fear of that there may be a small problem with a fractional percentage of them and not want to go to market with it?
When there's that many millions of dollars at stake, I don't think so.
I don't think so either. These phone companies are making so much money off of us. First off, I just bought this phone last year. I don't remember what this one is. This is the Edge something, like the 6 Edge Plus or something.
No, that's the S7 Edge.
This is the
you
S7
just got that
Edge.
like 3 months ago.
Yeah, you forget because you go
way.
through phones so
Yeah,
often.
you get a new phone like every 4 months.
What I was going to tell you guys is that these darn phones only work for like a few months, and after that they start slowing down. They don't work really well anymore.
That
and
is
then
true.
you're forced to go out and get a new one, and you know, before you know it, you've spent several $1,000s a year on phones. If you're like me and want to have, you know, the
I think
latest
your
phone.
phone's slowing down because you're spending 6 to 7 hours on it a day.
Wait a minute.
That might have something to do with
from
it.
4 to 6 to 7. All right. You know, speaking of making billions, the iPhone 7 just came out. So I'm sure there's going to be people standing in line for that.
Yeah.
But the funniest thing about that is there is absolutely no changes between this one and the previous one. Actually, the new one is worse because they removed the headphone jack.
Yeah. And they're charging you $160 for these little earbuds or whatever.
Oh, and they're ugly.
Yeah,
like
and you're gonna lose them.
They're so
quick.
proud of them. They're like, check out these awesome earbuds by Apple. I'm like, those things are hideous, man. Who designed that?
I love it, and they're gonna make so much money on that. Anyway, when we get back, we got to talk to you guys about virtual reality. We're gonna be playing a game. We're gonna do a game show.
Do a little game show when we come back.
All right. We're gonna do that when we get back, and then we're gonna get into some wholesalers do's and don'ts. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hey realtors, I have a challenge for you. Walk into your broker's office and ask him to show you how to do a net listing, a wholesale investment transaction, or a subject to. I'm Alan Hernandez, broker of White Picket Realty, and my team and I have been doing these type of transactions for years. We can show you how to do the same and turn small deals into big checks. If you're interested in learning more, please contact join at teamwpr.com. JOIN at teamwpr.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one. Hey Houston investors, do you have a couple deals under your belt, but now you're looking to scale in a more structured way? If so, then the House Flipping Network provides guidance to those looking to grow their real estate business. It's also a great way to mastermind with our experts and groups of like-minded investors just like yourself. If you're interested in more information, reach out to me, david@houseflippingnetwork.com. That's david@houseflippingnetwork.com. Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217.
And we are back on the Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live chat with us by tweeting us at Realty Ruckus. You can also text us by typing RR to 24587. And you can reach us on Facebook and YouTube Live. David, how's the weather out there for us this week? This morning was miserable.
Yeah, it was, and I think we're going to get some more rain during the week. The good thing is that we are coming down on those temperatures. We're finally cooling off, so the highs are going to be in the 90s, the low 90s, and with lows in the 70s.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
I'll take that.
I'll take the rain to get a little cool weather.
Yeah,
for sure.
today should be the only day for rain. It hit us kind of hard, and then during the week, it should taper out. And hopefully, we're done with that crap. Let's get into fall fully.
You know, the thing is, I love it when it rains because it keeps all the grass on all of our houses nice and green, right? At the same time, I can't go out biking when it rains because all the trails are muddy.
Yeah.
And this weekend we were going to go host an open house at one of our listings, and totally got rained out. And usually when it rains, people don't show up to these things, so you have to cancel all of those. Anyway, we want to get into a little bit of virtual reality. Now I know we've talked about this before,
and we talk about it a lot, but
why does this thing keep coming up for us?
It's such a big emerging industry.
Yeah,
it's something that people have wanted since the early 90s. I mean, you can go all the way back to the Game Boy VR.
Yeah.
The original really crappy virtual reality where you put on those lenses and it was just like red lines on a black screen.
Yeah.
And people were supposed to be impressed by that. And obviously it tanked. but people were really interested. I know that even as a kid, I was like, oh man, I got to go to Circuit City and go check out that thing.
Yeah.
I don't even remember what it was called, guy. I think it was called a Game Boy VR or something like that. It was, and so it's just an industry that's been emerging for a very long time.
Yeah.
And
I just put out an article about it too, mentioning the same thing.
Yeah. I think that the technology has finally caught up with what the expectation is of VR. And that's why it's really starting to take off now. And so we've got this really interesting article. Bank of America, they did a prospectus because they're getting ready to invest heavily in VR.
Yeah.
So they put this out to their investors. And what I wanted to do is do a little game show here, see who can figure out technology better, who knows social media and technology better.
Oh, yeah.
David thinks
so
he's
who
got
are the
it.
players? David and I?
Yeah, it's you versus David, because I would love to play, but I already read the article. So I'd have an unfair advantage on it.
All right. So what are we playing for? We need to figure this out.
All right. Well,
what does the winner get and what does the loser have?
Well, look, I know one thing that David hates is the Texans.
Okay.
And
let's be clear. I don't hate the Texans.
David hates the Texans.
So this punishment is not going to be that.
What is this? What's going on here?
Well, he doesn't hate the Texans. He just loves the Cowboys.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
So by default, he hates the Texans.
Can't do this. How is this possible? Somebody help me out
So
there.
you wear a Cowboys shirt on Friday if I win. And
I don't even own one. I
got one for you. Don't worry.
He's got some XLs.
I got one for you. Oh, no, that's a good one.
Oh, wait. I like that better.
A suggestion for my assistant.
Brandon.
Wait a minute. Whose assistant are you?
Yes.
Brandon, why don't you show that for the camera so people can see what you wrote up there? I like that idea, actually.
Yeah.
So anyone who doesn't really know Alan well, he's kind of been a health nut for the last year and a half.
2 years.
2 years, going on 2 years now. He refuses to eat anything fattening
Or unhealthy.
Yes. Yeah, I like this.
So I like this one. If you lose on Friday, we go to the Texas Burger Palace and you Facebook Live for all of our viewers. You killing a big old burger.
Yeah.
How about
Get
that
an
one?
Fat Boy on it.
I can't do that, man.
Yeah.
I would much rather wear the Cowboys jersey.
No.
I would
Let's do it.
much
That's
rather
off
wear
the table
Cowboys
now.
jersey.
The Cowboys jersey's
It's
off the table.
A burger? Man, you know how long it's been since I've chowed down on what is it, like a bacon burger or something?
We'll even let you know. We'll let you get even the soy burger if you want.
No.
Sorry, no. David vetoed it
You
already.
can't go help me. No.
All right, fine. I'll do
in.
it. But you guys got to have one with me.
That's completely fine with me.
No one cares about that right here. Let's
All
do
right.
it. What's the show?
What does David what happens to David
Well,
if
he has to wear the Texans jersey.
That's fine.
Because if
And
we
we
say
gotta
he
get
has to eat
pictures
a
of it.
burger, he's just gonna make him happy.
Yeah.
Let's make him eat a salad.
Oh, no.
Just a salad.
He's like, oh no. He's
Oh,
like,
no.
don't you guys know that I love to eat?
Oh, no. Don't make me eat.
All right, let's do it.
All right. So I'm gonna ask both of you guys the same question. Throw out an answer. The one who's closer will get the point for the round. If you guys both get right on the money, which I doubt it,
Yeah.
you'll both get a point for that round.
All right, sounds good.
All right. So here's the first one. This is the one that really pushed it for Bank of America. How many VR companies are there right now that just started up that are now worth over $1 billion? And they're recent startups within the last 18 months.
Wait. What are you doing over there? You can't be.
Oh,
That's my
cheat.
assistant. First of all, he just threw me under the bus by making me eat a big old
That's
burger.
that might be an
He
automatic
owes me one.
disqualification right
He
there.
owes me one.
That's an automatic burger, I think,
Yeah.
right there.
That's an auto burger.
That's a 15-yard penalty, automatic cheeseburger.
No, okay, come on. How many companies?
How many companies in the last 18 months that came into the VR space now worth over $1 billion, which is what made Bank of America say, hey, wake up. This is going to be big.
Okay.
How many out there?
You're going with 2?
I'm going with 2 minutes left in the segment,
Okay.
but my actual
okay.
guess is going to be, let's go with 9.
He's going with 9.
I'm going to go with 15.
Okay, 15. So both of you guys are a little bit high. It's actually 5 companies, which is very surprising. They're called unicorns because they come up so quickly and their valuations go up so fast.
Is this like
There's
the
actually
Price is
5 of
Right?
them.
Does he win because he's closer?
Yeah, so David's
Should
actually
I have just gone with like one?
Yeah, you should have gone with
I should
one.
have just gone with one.
Wait, it's the best without going over. Is that how Price is Right works?
Yes.
So I got one for David. All right. So
Awesome.
what is going to be the size of the U.S. global market? I mean, the global market for VR by the year 2022. What's the expected size of that market?
5.6 billion.
5.6 billion
By what year?
by 2022. So 5 or 6 years from now.
You'll be about 46 or something.
It's got to be way up higher than that in the billions.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Four,
Yeah, he's-
Well,
5.6 billion.
I lost the last round, so I'm going to go with $1 billion.
Oh man, you should have gone with your very, very high. Believe it or not, guys, they're estimating that the global market is going to be 150 billion a year
Look at this guy
By the
trying to
year-
give answers.
by the year 2022.
150. That's
150
huge
billion.
market.
That's
That's
insane.
huge.
That's massive.
I was thinking more like 50, but 150 is just way up there.
Yeah, that's a little crazy. I even have a difficult time believing that, but it is true. That's what's making them really want it.
All right. Last questions, because we only have 30
Last
seconds
question. We
left.
got 30 seconds left. Let me see which one I got here. Okay, here we go. How many seconds a day do Snapchatters use right now currently using an augmented reality filter?
Oh shit!
Snapchatters.
Isn't that all of them? Where they put the that's like all of them basically. How
Yeah.
many seconds a
It's
day?
How many seconds per day are Snapchatters averaging?
36.
Is that when they take a picture and it looks different?
Yeah. So they've got the masks on and things like that.
Oh yeah, I've
36.
seen that. That's when like the really, really busted girls, they put on the they put on like flowers.
Oh, are we allowed
They
to say
put on
that?
these little flowers, and then they all of a sudden they think
Oh
they're
my
beautiful.
All right, I'm gonna drop Alan's mic for now.
Just so you know, it doesn't make you any more beautiful. It just makes you a busted girl with flowers on your head. Anyway,
seconds
how
per
many
day.
seconds? I don't know.
I say 36.
30, I think way more than that. I'm
Hey,
going to go
go-
with
go.
5 minutes worth of seconds.
Dang.
5 minutes worth of
Yes.
seconds.
Yes.
Well, I wish I would have just asked how many minutes per day. Then. It's actually 20 seconds per day right now.
Gotcha.
All right.
That's a
20
clean
seconds per day.
sweep.
The
Eating
people-
a burger.
Yeah, clean sweep actually.
Golly,
I,
I wasn't even close.
I
on
look
this
at my
game.
score chart here.
That's a horrible score chart.
All right, we got to jump to a break, guys. We're actually really late for our break here. But when we come back, if you are out there wholesaling, or you plan on wholesaling, we have some really big tips coming up
Or
for
if you're
you.
buying from wholesalers.
Or if you're buying from wholesalers, what should you be doing? What should you not be doing?
Yeah.
We have all of that coming right up after the break.
Be right back.
Hey realtors, I have a challenge for you. Walk into your broker's office and ask him to show you how to do a net listing, a wholesale investment transaction, or a subject to. I'm Alan Hernandez, broker of White Picket Realty, and my team and I have been doing these type of transactions for years. We can show you how to do the same and turn small deals into big checks. If you're interested in learning more, please contact join at teamwpr.com. JOIN at teamwpr.com.
Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one. Hey, Houston investors, do you have a couple deals under your belt, but now you're looking to scale in a more structured way? If so, then the House Flipping Network provides guidance to those looking to grow their real estate business. It's also a great way to mastermind with our experts and groups of like-minded investors just like yourself. If you're interested in more information, reach out to me, david@houseflippingnetwork.com. That's david@houseflippingnetwork.com.
And we are back on the Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. Again, that's at Realty Ruckus. You can also chat live with us on Facebook and YouTube. And today we're talking about wholesalers and what should you be doing, what should you not be doing if you're a wholesaler. And if you are buying from wholesalers, what are some things that you need to be avoiding in the way that you work with wholesalers? And Alan, you've got some pretty good experience working as a wholesaler. You've probably wholesaled over 1,000 houses on your
I've
own.
wholesaled
over
a
the
lot of
years.
houses over the years, man. It's a phenomenal way to make a lot of really good income with very, very little risk and minimal amounts of investment capital into it. And so,
Would you say that wholesaling is pretty much the best way if you have no money, no experience to get started?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, if you're just getting into real estate, if you're, working a 9 to 5 and you say, hey, I want to get into real estate.
Yeah.
And you think you're going to jump in and just start flipping houses, you're probably going the wrong direction. Because I talked about this in one of our previous shows. I run into those people all the time, and they're out there getting ready to flip their first house, and they're making some major mistakes. And I can tell you that a lot of the training that I got on how to properly flip a house, how to do it the right way, where to get stuff from, like all the little trade secrets that I have, a lot of them came from wholesaling houses, before I even started flipping on my own. So anyway, needless to say, I definitely advise someone who's just getting started in real estate to try that route first. Get into the negotiation process, the marketing process, get something under contract, sell it to someone else, see what they do with the property, pick their brain, take them out to lunch. There's a lot of things you can do to learn from this. But I want to start off by saying that I just recently read an article. It's in the Houston Chronicle. Houston is getting ready to start targeting blue tarp houses. Now, do you guys remember in 2008, 2009, we had Ike, right? And over 1,500 homes in Houston, or maybe more. I remember reading something like 1,500 homes, literally, had these gaping holes on their roofs.
I remember that. I remember you drive around and you just saw blue tarps everywhere.
There was blue tarps everywhere back in those days. And the reason why I bring this up is because when that was happening, I remember driving for dollars and looking for blue tarp houses, and sending those houses letters saying, hey, I'd be interested in making an offer on your property. Call me when you're ready to sell. So, and, after, doing that for quite a while, I started getting calls back, and eventually I bought some blue tarp houses.
I do remember that.
So now the city is saying, hey, look, it's been quite a few years now. It's time for you to get rid of your blue tarp. So if you still have a blue tarp, or if you know someone that has a blue tarp, first off, you can send me the address and I'll try to buy the house. But second of all, there is going to be a program set up for those people who, if they qualify based on income and based on situation, then the city may actually provide a roof and repairs for the house.
Wow.
So when you get a chance, if you know somebody that still has a blue tarp, look it up. It's on the Houston Chronicle. Just type in Chronicle blue tarp. If not, David can send you the link. He'll post it down below, and it'll tell you more about the programs that the city is pushing out there to help those people. A lot of these blue tarps that are still there are in neighborhoods that are lower income and just simply can't afford to go throw on a new roof.
Yeah, I mean, $4,000 or $5,000 for someone who's making $25,000 a year.
That's exactly right.
Is a huge chunk.
And that's the thing. And you're saying $4,000 or $5,000, but that's on a tiny house.
Yeah,
because nowadays on a 2,000 square foot, let's say it's a 1,500 square foot house, a brand new roof from a big company here in town, which is usually what most people will call some large reputable company that's been around for 40 years, they're going to charge you nearly 10 grand for that roof.
Yeah.
Or more. And of course they'll let you put it on a credit card or something, but it's a very expensive roof. We get it done for a lot cheaper because we do a lot more volume. But those people don't have access to those type of discounts. And keep in mind, we also pay cash, or we pay all at once at least.
And they needed finance.
So there's a huge price difference. Anyway, definitely look that up when you guys get a chance. Let's get into working with wholesalers. I remember a few years back, I posted a little, picture of a HUD. Now it's called something else. Now it's called a closing disclosure, by the way. But I posted a picture of a HUD where the wholesaler that had sold me the house was making like this huge fee. It was like $20,000 or $30,000.
Yeah.
Right. And that wasn't even the largest one I've ever seen. It was just at the moment of time, I decided to take a picture of it and post it. And, I was celebrating the wholesaler that brought me that deal. The wholesaler that brought me that deal made great money for doing that. He went out, he found the deal. He put it under contract. He brought it to me and said, hey, this is what the deal is. He gave me the numbers, or his estimated numbers. Of course, I went on and did my due diligence. And on that property, I don't know if you remember this, BB, but we ended up making over $70,000 on that property.
Yeah, I remember that
So
house.
did I care that he made his 30 or whatever it was? And it was a large number.
You shouldn't.
I didn't. But the thing is, when you are a wholesaler, the first thing you want to do is be really, really worried about who you're dealing with. And I see it all the time. Even with this wholesaler, when I was buying this house from him, he was like, hey, am I going to have to double close this, or are you going to have a big, are you going to have an issue with me making a big fee or whatnot?
Yeah.
And that's the thing about working with wholesalers. It's they're allowed to make their money too. And you as an investor or us, when we're buying from wholesalers, we shouldn't care. And we don't, but a lot of people do. And I remember, when we've done wholesale deals, I've come across buyers who will literally look at our contract and say, you're making 10 grand, and they throw this huge fit sometimes because they see you making 10 or 15 grand on a transaction.
I've sat across the table from a buyer before, and we were signing a wholesale contract, and I think we were only making like 12 grand. I mean, come on.
And these are
grand.
investor buyers.
These are
right?
investor buyers.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I remember he was like, oh, 12? No, I don't pay more than 5.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I don't sell deals to people who don't pay what we're signing
actually,
for.
that's the right answer.
Yeah.
That's the answer to the whole game here. And so when you come across that buyer that says, hey, sorry, I can't pay you, or I have some policy that doesn't allow me to pay more than 5 grand in wholesale fees, there's the door. See ya.
Yeah.
And move on to the next buyer, because there's so many buyers out there willing and ready to work with you. And all it takes is for you to establish a good working relationship. And that kind of goes both ends. That's kind of my first point on how to work with wholesalers. And it goes both directions. It's establishing a relationship first.
And I'm curious, just for any other investors or any potential wholesalers out there that are listening, make sure you comment, because I am curious, have you run into that before as a wholesaler when people say, I don't want to pay your fee? And as an investor, do you have a problem paying a huge fee? Or are you the type of investor who says, as long as the deal works, the deal works? Because there's both sides of the equation.
I'm going to tell you exactly what people are going to say right now. And if I offend somebody, that's tough. That was my job originally. Remember we discussed that.
Yeah, you might have already offended some people.
Okay,
Right. You're good.
Here's the deal. Everyone's going to say, oh, it's okay. It's fine. We don't care what you make. We don't care what wholesalers make. But the truth is, when you see someone making $50,000 or $100,000,
stings a little.
It stings a little bit, right? And you got to ask yourself, hey, did I negotiate this deal properly? Am I getting a good deal or not? Am I overpaying for this transaction? Does the market bear the opportunity for me to pay a little bit more than I should?
Yeah.
And so those are all things that go through your mind when you're an investor. When you're a wholesaler, all you want to do is just close the darn deal and get somebody to buy it and sell it. But that's the thing. That's why I said point one is building a relationship, because if you're that wholesaler and you want to deal with that buyer again, and that could be a really good buyer, that could be your go-to guy that you call all the time.
Yeah.
You don't have to market to, you don't have to go out and blast it or post it on Facebook.
Yeah, you just know they're going to buy.
You know they're going to buy.
They're going to buy.
You know that when you make a phone call, if the deal works, that person's going to buy. If you want that buyer, you also have to be able to provide a good quality product. And quality product in the wholesale business just means good numbers.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. If you're the guy that's going out there overinflating your ARV, underestimating your rehab, or just flat out putting, stuff out there that darn well is not a good deal, you're not going to get that continual business.
Yeah.
And so then you have to run your business off of what's called finding the biggest fool. And it just means every time you get a deal, you have to find a bigger fool to buy that deal from you. And eventually you run out of fools, I'm assuming.
Well, and one thing that I'll say, and maybe this is just a piece of advice for wholesalers, is when you're first getting started and you're brand new, you're almost better off letting people know, hey, I'm just getting into this. I'm just getting started, because people will give you more of a slack on the fact that maybe your ARV is off a little bit. Maybe your repairs are off by a lot, but people understand they have to do their own due diligence. Now, you've been doing this for a long time, and you put out a deal where everything's overinflated and your repairs are underestimated, people are going to laugh at you a little bit.
Yeah.
Because they expect
they'll
you
say
to
some
have that
stuff.
experience. And as a good wholesaler, you want to make sure that you're also progressing, that you're becoming better at estimating your rehabs. You're becoming better at getting the ARVs right, because you don't want to run into that problem where experienced investors say, man, I don't even open up those deals anymore because they're so bad.
I can't tell you how many emails I get every day where if it has a certain name, I flat out just click delete.
Same here. That's
I mean,
100%.
so many of them. If I
Yeah.
get probably between maybe 50 to 100 emails a day. And I'll literally just go in my inbox and say, click, 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 delete. I just don't even waste my time anymore with some people because I know that they're not real investor minded or investor oriented people.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. Most people get into wholesaling as a stepping stool, right? That's kind of like the first step to get into owning rentals or rehabbing properties for profit. That's your first step because now you've figured out the real truth behind everything, which is how to negotiate with people, how to get out there, market, find good deals, negotiate, put them under contract. That's the hardest part, right? After that, you can figure out what to do with them. Once you find the deals, you can keep them, you can sell them, whatever. But the point is, when you're out there and you're not ever thinking, hey, I'm going to go in that direction, then you're okay with putting out crap that someone may buy and completely fail on because you're never going to buy your own product.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you're thinking, hey, eventually I'm going to have to buy one of these, I'm going to have to keep one of these, then you may look at it differently. You may think,
well, and I feel like almost that's just a good word of advice, period, for any wholesaler is go into every single deal as if you were going to have to keep that deal.
Yeah.
And then see if it makes sense.
If it makes sense to you, for you to keep it, then obviously it would make sense for someone else to keep it.
And even if you can't afford it realistically, or you don't have the access to be able to afford it, because you can afford whatever you want as long as you have the access. But even if you don't have that, the best way to look at it is to say, is this deal one that I would keep myself?
Yeah.
And if it's not, then it's probably not a good deal.
Yeah.
And it's that plain and simple. And you have to stop going out there and just putting contracts on everything because you make the entire market for wholesaling look bad.
Yeah.
What's funny is I just read, it was actually a post on our real estate investor forum, Houston Real Estate Investor Forum. And it was a post about someone talking about an unethical wholesaler. And this is actually from a friend of ours, Chris, who literally was talking about how there was a wholesaler, or he met with a seller. The seller had spoken to another wholesaler who was going to put the property under contract, and the numbers made absolutely no sense.
So the seller wanted to go with a wholesaler because they thought they were going to get
the seller was
a higher
going with this
contract price.
wholesaler because the wholesaler had promised them way more than was even feasibly possible.
Yeah, which happens way too often.
Because he hadn't done his research. He hadn't actually pulled comps, actually hadn't realized what that house was worth. And then he asked the seller to go throw signs for him to try to resell it. And on top of that, was going to probably drag this seller out for I don't know how many months trying to get this deal sold, potentially pushing this guy into foreclosure. I mean, you never know. This guy could have actually lost his house had he gone with that guy.
Yeah.
So definitely don't be that guy. Anyway, we are running out of time. We're going to take a quick short break. And when we come back, we'll finish talking about this. And then we're going to talk about how to not get robbed from contractors. How about that?
Yeah. Sounds like a good one.
All right. We'll be right back.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217. Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepicketrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepicketrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey realtors, I have a challenge for you. Walk into your broker's office and ask him to show you how to do a net listing, a wholesale investment transaction, or a subject to. I'm Alan Hernandez, broker of White Picket Realty, and my team and I have been doing these type of transactions for years. We can show you how to do the same and turn small deals into big checks. If you're interested in learning more, please contact join@teamwpr.com, join@teamwpr.com.
Hey, Houston investors, do you have a couple deals under your belt, but now you're looking to scale in a more structured way? If so, then the House Flipping Network provides guidance to those looking to grow their real estate business. It's also a great way to mastermind with our experts and groups of like-minded investors just like yourself. If you're interested in more information, reach out to me, David at houseflippingnetwork.com. That's David at houseflippingnetwork.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. You can also comment on Facebook and YouTube to answer your questions live here on the air. Now, today we're talking about wholesalers and things that investors should do to work better with wholesalers, and vice versa, things that wholesalers need to be doing to better work with investors. And we wanted to cap that off by giving a couple of good tips on things that wholesalers need to be doing. Now, we talked about the relationship, and you said how important it is to build the relationships. So you wanted to give some tips on ways that wholesalers can work on building their relationships with investors.
Yeah, I mean, the best way to do it is to be transparent. To be transparent on, what you're doing, what you're expecting to make, and how you expect the transaction to go through.
Yeah.
When you can be fully transparent and you don't have anything to hide, and you don't, the thing is, when you have that feeling like you should be nervous because you might be hiding something, then you probably are doing things wrong, and you probably haven't disclosed things properly, and you probably haven't done a good job. And when you run into those situations, that's when that's when you can cause some friction. The best way to run a transaction when you're wholesaling is just to be transparent about everything and work with people who are okay with you making money.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. When you run across the guy that says you're making too much money, that's not the guy that you want to work with. I flat out would rather say, you know what, I'm sorry, I can't take this deal, than to be like, I'm sorry, you're making too much money.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times, believe it or not, I've had people come back to me and be like, hey, what would it take for you to get this deal? And then I'll tell them where I need to be, and we'll come to a conclusion, and then we both work it out to where we're both happy. It's creating a win-win scenario.
Yeah.
So, we're so focused on making win-win scenarios with sellers. When you're out there wholesaling, your entire goal is to make a win-win scenario with a seller. That should be your only goal, right? To fix a problem, find a solution for a problem that the seller has. Now, you're going to go turn around and take that piece of paper that you have that says the seller is going to sell that to you, and you're going to sell that piece of paper to someone else. But you should also be working that scenario in the same regard, creating a win-win scenario.
Yeah.
That buyer that you're dealing with, that could be your next partner. That could be the person that funds your next project. You never know who you're dealing with across the table. You never know who's buying your next house and how much they could help your business, how much they could at least coach you and guide you in the right way if you are the type of person that's going to be transparent and honest with them.
Yeah.
So that's my tip number one. Tip number two is buy at the right numbers. You make your money when you buy the deal, right? Now, it's pretty simple to call and have a conversation and say, look, man, where are you buying? What do you want to buy? You're going to spend your marketing dollars cost the same whether you send a letter to Sunnyside or Bel Air. The marketing dollars cost the same. If you're going to spend $1 per letter, it'll cost you the same to send it there or there. So it's not a bad idea to have a conversation with your buyers, the ones that you trust, the ones that have a good reputation.
And that's typically, you call that your top five.
I call it my top five.
You're 5 people out there that you don't have to worry about, that that whatever deal you bring that's in their area,
that makes
they're going to
sense.
buy it. Yeah, that makes number sense. They're going to buy it.
Yeah.
And that's your top 5. And they may not all 5 be in the same area, preferably not all 5 in the same area.
Yeah.
But those are just investors you've built that relationship with.
Yeah. And what you do is you have a conversation and you say, hey, just tell me what you're buying, where at, what the numbers need to be. And if that person is reasonable, they're going to give you good numbers on where they would actually buy. And then you literally go out there and put your campaigns towards targeting for those buyers, right? Now you have the demand. Now all you have to do is create the supply. Very, very simple stuff. This is not rocket science.
When you do it that way, it does make it very simple.
Yeah. Now, when you've been doing this for a little while, you get a chance to accumulate a pretty large buyers list, and then pretty much you can just buy anything and throw it out there. But it takes a little while to build that. It takes a little while to get to the point where anything that you put in a contract, as long as it makes number sense, you know that there's going to be a buyer for it.
Yeah.
Right. But in the meantime, that top 5, priceless. There's so many deals that we've done in the past where we've never had to blast it. We've never had to post it. We literally just make a quick phone call and that's it. It's done.
Yeah. And I saw the other day, Chris Johnson, one of the lenders that we've utilized before, and an investor here in Houston, posted that he feels like he doesn't buy enough deals to get on anyone's top 5.
Yeah.
So he feels like he's being left to all of the junk that's getting sent out
he
by
did say
email.
that, yeah.
And so as an investor, that's the other part of it. You also have to build the relationship with the wholesalers.
Right. Yeah.
It's not only wholesalers building relationships with investors. So if you're not the kind of guy that's buying 100 deals a year or even 30 deals a year, if you're only buying one every 2 or 3 months, it doesn't mean that you can't still go out there and build those relationships to make sure that you get those emails. Hey, those are the kind of deals that I like.
Yeah.
And send them to me. Now, one thing I think that makes it a little bit more difficult is whenever investors are like, just send me anything, anywhere, and I'll buy if it makes sense for me. You need to be a little bit more specific. I like to buy in this part of the city and at these numbers, and I like to do it for this specific purpose, a buy and hold, a flip, whatever it may be, to build that relationship.
You know, it's funny. So I represent a lot of investors here in town, and now mostly I help them liquidate their properties once they've rehabbed them, and some of them will use our services to help them through the rehab process, just because we've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
But I come across investors every once in a while that'll call me up and say, "Hey, I want to be on your buyers list. I know you wholesale every once in a while. I want to be on your buyers list." And when I say, "Well, all right, tell me a little bit about what you're looking for and what numbers you're looking to buy," here's what I get. I want to buy something in some nice part of town, Bel Air or something like that.
Yeah.
And I want to buy it at 60 cents on the dollars, including repairs.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, seriously? I mean, I can't even work with you. You're so unreasonable with what you're asking that even if I did find that deal at 60 cents on the dollars, it's not going to you.
Yeah.
Because you're a jerk and you don't realize that what you're asking for is not possible. And if it is possible, you're going to have to find it yourself,
Yeah.
So,
well, not only that, but basically when you tell somebody that, what you're saying is, I need you to leave a lot of money on the table so that I can get a better deal.
Yeah.
And that's just unreasonable. I mean, the reality is wholesaling is not investing. Wholesaling is a job. It's work. And you have to put a lot of time and a lot of effort into it. And so for an investor to tell a wholesaler, oh, you don't deserve to be making that amount of money, is almost like a slap in the face.
Yeah.
And because there's nothing wrong with being a wholesaler. Wholesalers are necessary. They're filling a void that's missing in the community, and they're out there getting more deals. Now, the problem is when you get shady wholesalers who do illegal things, but that's a whole nother story.
Yep.
When you're doing a wholesale and you're out there going and finding deals for investors and selling them and actually fulfilling on your promise on those contracts, you're actually serving a purpose in the community, and you're good for the investor community. Would you not agree?
Oh, I completely agree. And you're filling a huge void with sellers that need to sell and buyers that need to buy.
Yeah.
And when you're heavily investing, when you're rehabbing a bunch of properties, you don't have time to go out there and meet with a bunch of sellers. You don't have time to do all that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you need a couple of good wholesalers in your back pocket to go out there and help you find your next rehab project. Because otherwise you get to the point where you're stuck. You don't have enough rehab projects to actually go out there and continue the business moving forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, you're right. It's something that you need. And when you mistreat someone just because they're not quote unquote investors, it doesn't actually get you where you need to go. And the point, if you're a rehabber, the only way to continue growing your business is to have more access to more deals.
Yeah. And unless you plan on building out your own team and doing it that way, which is a lot of work also,
Yeah, it is.
You're almost left to saying, okay, well, let me go build relationships with a few good wholesalers, and which I know a lot of investors who have great relationships with just a handful of wholesalers, and they run their entire business off of that.
Yeah.
They may only do 5 to 10 houses a year, but they're getting those 5 or the 10 off of one single wholesaler, or maybe 2 or 3 wholesalers at the most. And they don't have to worry about sending out letters, doing bandit signs, doing marketing. All that's already there. And basically the cost gets put into the deal.
Yeah.
And so it's like you're not even having to spend that money up front. So it does make sense for small investors who don't have the capital or don't have the want to go build their own business
or the time, man.
Yeah.
You know, time is money. And when you're out there rehabbing, 10 houses plus a year, for you to take time to go out there and send letters or throw signs or whatever it is these wholesalers are out there doing to bring those deals, it takes time away from you flipping those properties.
Yeah.
So there's a trade-off there. All right. So first off, building the relationship, that is by far the number one thing that
through transparency, right?
Through transparency.
Yeah.
Building a relationship through transparency and just being level-headed, just understanding that you're as an investor, a wholesaler is not going to bring you a 60% deal because he shouldn't have to. He can sell that to a ton of other people who are going to pay him a whole lot more.
Yeah, you shouldn't. And as an investor, stop playing the offended role of, oh my God, I can't believe you wouldn't send me that deal at 60%. Guys, at the end of the day, this is a business. That we like to hang out, we like to all be buddies, but at the end of the day, it's a business. And why would you ask someone to leave all that money on the table just because they're your friend? I always think that's funny. People always expect a better deal from their friends.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's the people you should take the best care of, your friends, so that you can all grow together.
You stay friends.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your friend stays down in the bottom, and you're moving up, and they're still stuck there.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, we're coming out to the end of this segment here, but I hope you guys got a little bit of information on how to work with wholesalers from an investor standpoint. And if you're a wholesaler, what things you can do to continuously build your business. And don't forget that you need to be using this stuff as a tool to move to the next level. When you've wholesaled enough houses and you start getting tired of it, get to the next level. Get a hard money lender, help you start buying and flipping a few, maybe start keeping a few. If you guys obviously need some help with that, feel free to reach out to us. We'll be right back. We'll continue our conversation shortly.
Hey everyone, this is David over at White Picket Realty, and I wanted to tell you about my friends over at Plans Express who can save you the headache of running your own permits. These guys are committed to offering a one-stop solution for all your plan and permit needs. They're proudly serving their friends and neighbors in the Houston surrounding areas, and they offer great service at an exceptional value. With dedicated professionals ready to serve, contact them today at 832-675-6217. Stop searching and start staying in the know with our Houston Real Estate Events page on Facebook. Follow us by searching at Houston Real Estate Events to stay up to date on the latest events for real estate in the Houston area. If you are interested in having your event on our page, please email me at david@whitepickettrealty.com. Again, that's david@whitepickettrealty.com. Non-paid events only. One more time, find us on Facebook at Houston Real Estate Events, and we'll see y'all at the next one.
Hey realtors, I have a challenge for you. Walk into your broker's office and ask him to show you how to do a net listing, a wholesale investment transaction, or a subject to. I'm Alan Hernandez, broker of White Picket Realty, and my team and I have been doing these type of transactions for years. We can show you how to do the same and turn small deals into big checks. If you're interested in learning more, please contact join@teamwpr.com. join@teamwpr.com.
Hey Houston investors, do you have a couple deals under your belt, but now you're looking to scale in a more structured way? If so, then the House Flipping Network provides guidance to those looking to grow their real estate business. It's also a great way to mastermind with our experts and groups of like-minded investors just like yourself. If you're interested in more information, reach out to me, david@houseflippingnetwork.com. That's david@houseflippingnetwork.com.
And we are back on Realty Ruckus. We're coming in on our last segment here. Remember that you can live tweet us at Realty Ruckus. Again, that's at Realty Ruckus. You can also comment on Facebook and YouTube to have your questions answered live on the show. Now, we've done a lot of talking about wholesalers today, and we've done a lot of information on a lot of other good stuff. But we did have a question from one of our listeners.
Yeah, Thomas, he wanted to know a little bit more about pre-foreclosures, when you can access that list, or how quickly or how early can you get access to that information, basically, and also what type of information is available publicly out there for, I guess, I'm assuming he wants to get into wholesaling or is already wholesaling.
Okay, and so Thomas, you're thinking about getting into wholesaling and you're thinking about going the pre-foreclosure list route. And that's what a lot of people do, actually.
Yeah.
Because it is information that's publicly available. It's readily available. You can purchase it through different companies here in town, but you can also get it for free through others.
Yeah, so I believe companies like Real Acquisitions actually publish their own pre-foreclosure list. If you want to speak with them, I don't know what terms they put it out under. I've seen it online that they put out for free even sometimes, but I don't know if that's a regular thing that they do. Now, the company where you can buy it from consistently month after month is Foreclose Houston. The reason that I like to use their list is because they're the ones that actually run the auction itself. So they have real-time data, and they can provide you with what actually happened on every single property after the foreclosure. That's a separate list that you can buy. And in terms of
what does it cost of that? Do you remember?
It's
Like
not
$50
yeah, it's
for
like $50 a month. It's not terrible. If you buy the previous list, I think it comes out to like $75 a month. But it is important because it shows you which houses sold, which houses went back to the bank, which ones went to third parties, and it kind of gives you an idea of how the entire auction played out. So it's just good data to have. You know?
And Thomas, I think the most important thing for you to know is that if you're going to use the pre-foreclosure list as a source to buy investment properties, the actual best way to do that is to literally knock on those people's doors.
Absolutely.
We have tried all of the other routes. We have tried sending those people letters. Actually, that was one of our most miserable campaigns that we completely failed
Well, that's because
on.
that's what everybody is doing.
Well, here's the deal. Those people get probably 100 letters by the time they actually get to the foreclosure steps. And you're just one in a huge stack.
Yeah, you're just hoping for luck at that point.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing that's going to set you apart.
Well, that's problem number one. Problem number two is that we realize this is most of these people are people that push these kind of scenarios off to literally last minute. So when we were sending these letters, we would get a call literally the day of the foreclosure or the day previous to the foreclosure. And at that point, it was
and the really
completely too
responsible
late.
ones would call us on the Thursday before.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I still have 2 days before my foreclosure. Can you guys help me?
And so we realized a lot of the people that are in that situation, not all of them, but a lot of them were just, flat out just irresponsible.
Yeah.
And didn't want to take care of the things, with enough time. So they were by far some of the biggest procrastinators that we encountered. So for us, we realized early on, and this hopefully can help you and save you some time. If you like an area, if you're chasing down a certain type of neighborhood or a certain type of house, pick the ones that have just gone into the foreclosure process. Go out there and knock on the door and try to have a conversation. And that by far will get you the best results.
I couldn't agree more with you. And the other thing that I would do is add on top of that one onto your door knocking list, the behind on taxes.
Yeah.
The tax foreclosure list. And that one, between those two combined, gives you a good amount of houses to go knock on a monthly basis. Heck, I mean, we know people that run their entire business just off of that.
Yep.
And they do a good job. Yes, is it uncomfortable at first?
Yep.
You get used to it. But it is a very good way to get started when you're first starting. Is just get out there and do it.
Yeah. And you get a chance to practice. You get a chance to negotiate. You get a chance to figure out what kind of things you're going to need to say in order to get them to allow you into their home. There's a lot that goes into it, but a lot of it has to do with just failing a bunch at first. And that's part of the learning process. So don't be sad or discouraged if for some reason you get to someone's door and they slam the door in your face. That's just part of the learning process.
Yeah, absolutely. And the other thing that I would say is if you're first getting started, just forget about the auction part of the foreclosure in general.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not something for anybody who's this is their very first rodeo going out there going to buy their first house to go and test out the foreclosure auctions. The auctions themselves really should be for experienced investors, people who understand the entire foreclosure process, understand the rights of redemption that exists there, and all the other possibilities that can occur.
It's funny. I think there's two people at the foreclosure auction. There's people that have been doing this for years and years and years and really understand this in and out and have the cash to purchase. Or there's people that now know absolutely nothing about real estate and they just ran into a bunch of cash or know of someone or some company that does, and they go out there and buy stuff. And it's crazy because when you go out there and you stand there and you run some of the numbers on that some of these people are buying at, it's hard to understand how they're making money.
Oh, I agree.
But some of them are, and some of them do. I don't know how, but I can tell you that it's mind-boggling. Then again, some people do get really lucky. I've seen some deals at the foreclosure auction go for, cents on the dollar, and those are just lucky scenarios in my opinion.
Yeah.
But yeah, Jabron's right. Stay away from that for now. Probably the best bet on the foreclosure list, if that's what you want to tackle, is doing some door knocking. And don't be afraid to do it. And if you need some help, feel free to reach out to us. What else do we have? We got to talk about some events.
Yeah, so we have the September 28th. We have a class coming up, and it's specified for realtors. It's for people in the real estate industry, but very specifically, we're going to be talking about realtors, and that's how to hire your first assistant, and not necessarily an assistant here, how to hire your first virtual assistant.
That's right.
Somebody who's going to cost you anywhere between $3 to $5 an hour, and that you can afford because you don't have to bring them on full time. You can bring them on in a limited role to do the things that you don't like to do.
I've been in this business almost 10 years, and I have yet to see this class actually happen. So I'm really excited that we're part of it and that we're pushing this. One, I think it's going to help a lot of realtors out there, which is what we want to do right now. We want to make sure that we help those realtors that are just getting started, or maybe the ones that have been doing this for a little while but can't figure out how to take their business to the next level.
Yeah.
This is it. This is a way for you to offload some of those, menial, repetitive tasks to someone else. And it's kind of cool because while you're sleeping, they can be working. I mean, it's really neat. If you wake up and all of those little tasks that you just couldn't get to throughout the day get done, and you wake up and it's like, hey, boom, this is all done for you. Man, how awesome is that? And the feeling is great.
Well, and what's amazing is people don't realize that just because the time zones are different doesn't mean they have to work in a different time zone. There's VAs who switch around their entire time clock so that they're working overnight so they can work during your business hours. So if you need someone coordinating your closings, you need somebody just shooting follow-up emails, taking care of your CRM, Salesforce, Infusionsoft, all the big ones, guys. VAs are trained for that.
Yep.
They don't get paid very well in our country, and this is a good avenue for them to make double to triple what the minimum wage in their country would be.
That's what people don't realize. So my VA is, she's willing to work during our time, right? So, and I started researching it, and we couldn't figure out, why or how. And, we came to realize they're making approximately the average income of about $1 when we're paying them $3 to $5, so they're okay. They're making, they're making enough money to make it worth their time to switch their time zones and help us get these tasks done.
Yeah.
And for someone who is a small business owner and just getting started and just needs that help to kind of focus more on income producing activities, finding someone to help you with this is priceless.
Yeah.
So anyway, September 28th.
Yeah, it's going to be September 28th. It's going to be at the Allied Home Warranty offices, and you can actually find the address and all the information on Eventbrite. That's at vaclass.eventbrite.com. But just a little bit more information on it. We're hosting that with Richard Smith, a loan officer here in Houston, who's going to be doing the class, and with a patent law firm is going to be providing lunch. And what we're going to be learning there is basically how can a realtor get started growing their team and finding a VA. Where do you find the best virtual assistants? Where can you actually go to find a trusted virtual assistant? Basically make sure you're not getting hoodwinked. What specific tasks can you actually delegate out to a virtual assistant to help you in your business? So obviously, once you get somebody hired, the next question is, what can they actually do for me? And what tools can you use to basically make that relationship as efficient as possible? And then lastly, what are you going to pay them and how much, how often? So we're going to be going through it's a whole course.
Here's the deal. This should really be a paid event. I mean, what we're going to provide in terms of value.
Well, and due to the high demand, we've actually had to make it a paid event. It's free now only for realtors. If you've already registered, we're not going to go back and make you pay. But all new registrants, it's free for realtors. You'll have to put in your TREC license number in order to show that you are licensed. And then for everybody else, it's $15.
Okay. And even that is a dead giveaway.
Oh, it's a steal.
Because what you're getting in the class is literally a blueprint on how to start growing your team.
Oh yeah,
so,
I agree.
Anyway, needless to say, let's move on to some of the other events that we have coming up.
Yeah, so that one's on September 28th, and that one's going to be from 11 to 2. Again, you can register at vaclass.eventbrite.com. But some of the other events going on around town, I know coming up, Real Acquisitions has a multifamily investing event. It's on September 20th. I'm not sure where that one's going to be, but I know Real Acquisitions is hosting it, so you can look that up on Facebook. We have Real Estate Networking by Capital Concepts. That's the day before our VA class on Tuesday.
That's on Tuesday.
Yeah, and that's going to be from 5:30 to 8:30. And then that finishes out September, and then in October, our listeners can look forward to the White Picket Real Estate Happy Hour.
Yeah, and we'll be hosting live from there.
Yes.
Again, so make sure you guys register, get your tickets right away. And guys, that's a phenomenal opportunity for some networking, and networking should be a huge part of growing your business. So make sure you guys come out, come hang out, come talk to us. We want to get to know you guys. After that, then we're going to be getting into some awesome events with NAREP, which I'll talk about more later as we have more shows. Unfortunately, we've run out of time.
Yep.
Can you guys believe that?
It goes by too quick.
Yeah, it really does. So again, we appreciate you guys joining us. Don't forget to join us this Friday. This Saturday, we're going to be traveling to Los Angeles.
That's right.
So the White Picket team is going to be taking a little trip where we may not be able to host a show on Tuesday, but we are going to be checking in with you guys and giving you guys an inside scoop of what happens at an event, at a convention as big as the NAREP convention. So we'll check in with you guys on Tuesday, and we'll talk about that more this Friday. Don't forget to join us from 10 to 11 a.m. All right, guys, have a great rest of your week, and we'll see you on Friday.
Catch you on Friday, guys.
This has been the Realty Ruckus. Make sure and join us every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. Find us on YouTube and Facebook for replays of previous episodes. And as always, keep elevating yourself and keep up your ruckus. Thanks for listening. Realty Ruckus has been brought to you by Smart Pig Media Productions.